to economists, housing is critical in every economy and usually assumes crisis dimension in emerging economies where rapid urbanization often outstrips the capacity of cities to provide new housing. Shelter, as we well know, is a basic necessity after food and clothing. A report in South African's Mail said inadequate housing poses both security and development threats to the society. The United Nations Development Programme says housing is central to human development and impacts on health and productivity. Provision of housing or lack of it has been also linked to poverty and is adopted by the United Nations as a poverty reduction strategy. As Nigeria celebrates her 58 years of culture and diverse leadership, we need to reflect on the housing sector and see how far we have done and how we can make it better. I am Flora, your housing diva. Let's see the trending news in the housing sector.
The Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, COBUN, is set to hold its 2018 Builders Congress on the 26th to 28th of November 2018 at Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center, Abuja. The Congress, which is organized by COBUN, is an annual induction event made up of conference, exhibitions, seminars, technical sessions, product presentation, and also brings together major public and private stakeholders in the Nigerian built industry in order to harness ideas and solutions on building standards in Nigeria. The Nigerian Institute of Architects NIA Abuja chapter marked the 2018 World Architecture Day with the theme Architecture for a Better World. The event was celebrated with a road walk around Abuja metropolis by a cross-section of the members of the Abuja chapter to create awareness on the importance of the day. Members of the institute expressed the importance of the profession as architects have the potential to shape lives, sustain population growth, and tackle a number of social problems through their works. Construction Skills Training and Empowerment Project System, in collaboration with NPower and Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, COBUN, is set to host the Construction Artisans Award in January 2019. The award is a platform aimed at showcasing and rewarding excellence and competence of artisans all across the Federation. The President, International Code Council, Nigeria National Chapter, ICC, NNC, Dr. Maurice Ngwaba, has called for efficient building code for Nigeria. He made this call at the ICC NNC Second Educational Seminar in Lagos with the theme Developing and Implementing Modern Building Codes for Resilience and Sustainability. Ngwaba said that as new cities and developments spring up across the country, professionals will be relied on to engage in the planning, designing, and development of standardized properties that would stand the test of time. The President, Housing Development Advocacy Network, Barrister Festus Adebayo, has congratulated Nigeria on her 58th independence anniversary. In the statement released on Monday, the advocacy group said Nigeria has not performed well in the area of providing home ownership for its citizens. He called on the federal and state government to develop political will in implementing housing policy that will create employment for the citizens.
From only a few million housing units short in the 1970s, the World Bank puts the current deficit at 17 million housing units. South Africa faced similar housing shortage in the wake of rapid urbanization, and they delivered over 3 million housing units between 1994 and 2017 to fill the gap, establishing itself as a country with one of the world's most ambitious housing programs. Egypt, Africa's third largest economy after Nigeria and South Africa, identified a national emergency situation when by 2011 it has a deficit of 1.5 million housing units. How well has Nigerian housing sector fared 58 years after independence? Let's watch this report.
In the early colonial period, the housing activities and policies of the government in Nigeria focused mainly on the provision of the quarters for expatriate staff and for selected indigenous staff in some specialized occupations like railways and the police, which marked the advent of government residential area, GRAs, in Nigeria. Housing policy in Nigeria is as old as the history of the country. The colonial era witnessed the creation of urban councils in 1946, the establishment of Lagos Executive Board in 1954, the formation of the Nigerian Building Society in 1955, as well as the enactment of Regional Housing Corporation in 1959. The transformation of the Nigerian Building Society into Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria with the promulgation of Decree No. 7 of 1977 also brought some improvement into housing delivery. The military era witnessed further improvement in housing policies and delivery. This was facilitated by the promulgation of the Mortgage Institutions Decree No. 53 of 1989. The decree promoted the realization of the major objectives of the national housing policy. Furthermore, the economic liberalization policy of Babangida's administration supported the participation of private organizations in housing delivery. This was closely followed by the promulgation of the Urban and Regional Planning Decree No. 88 of 1992, as well as the National Housing Fund NHF Decree No. 3 of 1992.
The National Housing Fund is a scheme that came to being through the act that was enacted in 1992 by the Act of the Parliament. And basically, it was meant to mobilize funds for provision of affordable mortgage finance houses for Nigeria.
In 2003, the federal government also established the Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development and proposed a housing reform in a view of the fact that there were not enough affordable houses in Nigeria. In 2013, Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company PLC was launched by the President Goodluck Jonathan's administration. NMRC was established to bridge the funding cost of residential mortgages and promote the availability as well as the affordability of good housing to Nigerians. It will achieve this by providing increased liquidity in the mortgage market through mortgage and commercial banks. 58 years of independence, and housing is still a major problem facing the country and is one of the major challenges each administration always seeks to tackle.
What I can say is that we started well in the housing sector with First Stack and other housing sections. But along the line we have derailed because a situation where you build a house that is very expensive and you want somebody to come and pay for it cash, you count the money, remove all the counters before he gets a house. I think that is not right.
Although laudable policies have been fixed in place by different administrations, the country has failed to truly house the huge number of its citizens. Successive Nigerian governments miss their target through wrong strategies and lack of the needed political will and strong regulation to see through good ones. A repeated blunder is the forlorn attempt by the federal government to build houses directly.
They've been doing whatever is their best. It's just that the best is not good enough. Now the private sector wants to give support in this direction, make houses available to Nigerians.
The creation of the Family Homes Fund Limited, a partnership between the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority as founding shareholders. There is high expectation that the effective utilization of the fund will address the country's housing deficit and also create about 1.5 million jobs in the process.
That vision is around providing up to 500,000 homes up until December 2023, and alongside that, 1.5 million jobs to some of our people who are earning the lowest income in our society. So the mandate is very clear. It's about large-scale housing supply and economic development.
Stakeholders are of opinion that combined efforts of government ministries, agencies, and the private sector will address the country's housing deficit. They say new partnerships and initiatives supported by the federal government and state governments will help provide the over 17 million new homes needed over the next 15 years. For a nation to be considered great, it must make sure its teeming population is with good accommodation. And for this to be accomplished, the government must create a policy that can adequately solve the problems facing the Nigerian housing sector.
Nigeria is a nation with over 180 million citizens, and this high population must be taken care of. The best way of taking care of the vast population is through the avenue of housing. Housing is a crucial basic need for everyone, just as food and clothing. I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. As Nigeria celebrates our 58 years of culture, innovation, and diverse leadership, what do you wish Nigeria as a Nigerian, as Nigeria stands proud at 58? Let's watch this.
Well, it's a very good thing that somebody grows up to 58, but the appalling situation of the country has made people very unhappy, especially when it comes to housing, particularly here in Abuja, where housing is a priority. And the high cost of rent has made a lot of people very, very uncomfortable with the situation at 58. I don't know, except if the government has plans to improve on the present situation of housing, because no one is comfortably staying about it.
Government should try and provide houses for the little ones. And there are some ones that have a little that they can stand for themselves. They should support them.
I wish them the best, but the system had to change. You cannot continue like this. If it's like this, I'm afraid before we celebrate 60 years anniversary, a lot is going to happen.
They should go back to the master plan of Abuja. If Ministry of Work should be the original master plan of Abuja, that if Ministry of Work should be in Kwali, let it go back to Kwali and develop houses for the staffs. If Ministry of Police Affairs is supposed to be somewhere in Buhari, let it go back there and develop houses for their staffs. It's as simple as that.
So in terms of the housing sector, and we also have to bear in mind that there are layers. There are people who can afford X, there are people who cannot afford X, there are people who cannot even afford anything. So the housing sector has to constantly be refined to be able to address that wide group of persons. The gate man here needs a house as much as the millionaire who is driving past there needs a house. So, it's the housing sector has a lot to do to itself to be able to address that need.
Now let's bear in mind, as we celebrate 58 years anniversary, that the better Nigeria starts with you and I. It starts with the way we the citizens treat each other. We are one nation bound in freedom, peace, and unity, and together we can surmount the housing challenges facing the country. You're watching Housing Development. Some professionals have said that Nigerian indigenous professionals have not had a fair share of major construction activities in the country, as they are often awarded to foreign counterparts who are considered more technically and managerially superior. Take a listen.
We're among those who are complaining. We are among those who are complaining. The government has not played the role it's supposed to play in patronizing Nigerian architects. A situation where another country comes, we will build this thing for you, we will bring the resources, you owe us, we're giving you loan. We will produce the drawings, we will build it. And then we are watching. They come here, they build our airports, they build everything. Airports are something that is a tourist attraction. Each airport ought to be a display of the best architecture of that country. So to go and take the same design and replicate it in all the airports is not helping us. One, the architects are out of job. What is there is something we know we can do better.
Definitely nobody should take over our construction industry. There is nobody that understands the needs of our people like our people. We have all that it takes. We have the professionals, both in the design stage, even in the building. So definitely we do not need other people to come over and take over the construction industry of our people. I think government needs to ensure that we continue to use our professionals, the architects, the engineers, and all other professionals to ensure that the people themselves build for themselves.
I think a lot of that has to do with economics. When the Chinese give you a loan and they insist this and that has to happen as some of the conditions of the loan, there is not much you can do about it. It's an issue of resources. He who provides the resources is definitely likely to dictate in one or two areas of the decision. And if they are coming in, they said that they need their experts or they want their contractors to do these things. But those are things that we ought to look at, address, and move forward with. Every problem has its stages of solution. We are looking for the funds to provide this or provide that, and the Chinese government or the Chinese people are willing to bring in these resources for us to be able to do this. What we need to start addressing is let them not bring the money and the money goes back to them.
The whistleblowing policy was set up in Nigeria against corruption and other ills in the country, but some individuals now use the whistleblowing to erroneously malign innocent persons. The Special Presidential Investigation Panel for the Recovery of Public Property recently paraded two individuals who gave false information to the panel against a foremost real estate developer in Abuja. Watch the reports.
The whistleblowing policy was set up in Nigeria against corruption and other ills in the country, but some individuals now erroneously malign innocent persons for personal gain. The Presidential Panel on Whistleblowing in a press conference brought the duo Mohammed Sanusi from Kogi State and Prince Jeff Ovie from Bayelsa State for giving false information to the panel under the whistleblowing policy against the chairman of Treadmill Estate, Engineer Emmanuel Mbaka.
When Nigerians circumvent this law, use the law, the policy to malign Nigerians, other Nigerians. We use them as an example. The law says if you give credible information, we commend you. If you give false information, we will reprimand, which is what we're doing here today. Today we have two persons who gave information about the whereabouts of looted funds. We have carried out due investigation and have found this information to be false.
In an interview with the press, the two self-acclaimed whistleblowers said they gave the information to the panel. The large sum of looted funds were found in the house of the chairman of Treadmill Estates.
My name is Prince Jeff Ovie. Okay. I'm from Bayelsa State. I was at Bayelsa. I have an information that there is a phone and a politician kept at Abuja here. So we came down to this town. Someone introduced me to a friend whereby he's close to me here. And he was the one that gave us the information, but not knowing that the information was not true. So we came to this presidential panel to make an entrance. This is what is going on, this is what is going on. That's that they should work towards the information. And they didn't know that the information was true, false information.
So my name is Mohammed Sanusi. Sometime March last year, to be precise, one Aliu gave me the information that he knows a house where a stolen phone is being kept. And I asked him, how sure are you? He told me that he's not too sure. And since I know the implication of it, I never bothered to run down to any of this agency to inform them. Not until when this very man standing by my side here, with his brother, came all the way from Bayelsa, that they have the spiritual power to enter the house, and that what they needed is for me to show them the house. and I showed them the house, and the man made me to understand that with the power he acquired from Indian, he will be able to know if there is stuff, if there is money in the house. When we went there, he told me that the spirit has told him that there's money in the house, so that we should give him a little time to walk over it. While he was telling me that we should give him a little time to walk over it, not unknowing to me, he came to a special presidential investigation panel to give them the information that they know where the money is kept.
Apologies were tendered to the chairman of Treadmill Estate for the embarrassment caused by the investigation. Adido, Mohammed Sanusi, and Jeff Ovie will be charged to court for giving false information to the panel.
I believe that this gentleman here has been very embarrassed by this, and the panel is apologetic that we had to put you through that process. But I hope you will also understand that we were doing our job. For every information, every intelligence we receive, we are duty bound to investigate it. If we investigate and we find it to be untrue, we will do as we are doing now, we apologize to you. As the law requires, we will be charging these persons to court for false information given to the panel.
Because of the reward attached to whistleblowing, some fraudulent Nigerians see the whistleblowing policy as an opportunity to make fast money. Should we blame this on the situation of the Nigerian economy, where so many youths are jobless? Ifeoma Wilson, reporting for Housing Development.
My name is Oni Echono. I am the first Vice President of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education. I've been watching this program. Housing Development Program is the flagship program really on TV that focuses on the environment, the built environment, housing, construction, and we want you to keep the job up. We are helping to propagate all the values that we want to bring to address housing and construction issues in the country, and I fully endorse this program.
Welcome back. The Builders Congress 2018, organized by Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, and induction of new members will be holding on the 26th to the 28th of November 2018. It's a bumper package with conference, exhibition, seminars, technical sections, award and gala night. You have an opportunity to exhibit your products and services on the floor of the venue, the Musa Yar'Adua Center, Abuja, Nigeria. For exhibition space, call the number showing on your TV screen. Thanks for watching. If you missed any part of today's episode and you need to watch it over again and previous episodes, you can do that via the YouTube channel Housing TV Africa. And remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. I remain Flora, your housing diva. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Happy 58th Independence Anniversary.